Hey, this is Joe Abunassar, founder of Impact Basketball, and it's our first episode of Under the Banners. We're about to chat with Josh Green about the NBA Finals, the Olympics, and a lot of stuff all the way back to pre-draft.
Welcome back, everybody. We're here with episode 1 of Under the Banners, sitting here with Joe Abunassar and Josh Green of the Charlotte Hornets. First question for Josh. So you've been coming to Impact for 3 summers now. Take us back to that rookie summer, your first year here, preparing for pre-draft. What were your thoughts, kind of expectations heading into that, and what was it actually like, and how did that play out for you?
I think coming into my rookie year, obviously doing the pre-draft here at Impact, COVID affected it a lot, so we had a longer pre-draft, and
Very long.
I think it was like 6 months.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was at first it was just me out here for the first part, right? And then the rest of the CA agency all came out, and it was fun. It made it super competitive. A lot of good games of 1-on-1, 2-on-2, and I feel like it's probably some of the best shape I've got in my life, just because I had such a long amount of time just to be able to focus on my game.
Yeah, it was forever. I think the draft was after Thanksgiving, or maybe right before Thanksgiving.
November 16th.
Yeah, so you might have gotten here in May.
Yeah.
So it was the longest pre-draft I've ever done in my life. We actually, we have our prep school here. We started to call you guys academy students because you were here so long for that time. But it was a great group of pre-draft guys too. And I think for Josh, it was, coming out of Arizona, but the season got cut short, so you hadn't played in a while and just really stepping your whole game up to the next level like a normal pre-draft. But normally we only have 6 to 8 weeks. We had 6 months,
And we weren't allowed to do we weren't traveling to see.
Oh, right, yeah, no workouts, yeah. I did all your workouts here. Yeah, teams would come in.
Teams would come out here, but you remember I got COVID and I was out for like a week.
That's right.
I think it was from Milwaukee. So yeah.
That's right. They had to reschedule, because that was when we all had to be tested and everything to even do the workout. But it was a really good group, and you're right. Some of those 3-on-3s and stuff were some good battles that time. So, but I think for you it was just a nice transition from college to the NBA and picking up the speed and all that kind of stuff. But trust me, we wanted to get rid of you guys when it was all done. It was a long, man. It never ended. It was the pre-draft that never ended. That's what we called it.
And Joe, from your perspective, you found out Josh was coming here for pre-draft. Kind of what were your initial thoughts and observations watching his film throughout college and high school? And what were the things that you kind of thought you had to work on and focus on in order to get him ready for the draft?
For the draft for you, everyone knew about your athleticism, of course. They knew how fast you played. They knew, all the things you had done since high school. Even I remember watching you play in high school for the Under Armour crew, and, just running the floor, finishing. I think our biggest focus was just working on your skill stuff, and we knew you could shoot the ball. You didn't shoot the ball great at Arizona, and that was the focus, is getting your skill set better and matching it with your elite athleticism. So, again, we had a ton of time to do it. So I felt that if teams could see you shoot the ball and the way you can handle the ball, and especially pass the ball and the way you played offensively, and then they added that with your athleticism, your ability to guard, that you would rise way up in the draft, which is actually what happened. So it all worked out good. I think we accomplished everything perfectly.
And so now bringing it to this offseason, obviously it's been a very difficult one for you. You had a good run in the finals. You went straight to the Olympics over in Paris, and you've come straight back to Vegas for a quick, short offseason. So I guess my question is, how do you balance during an offseason like this, resting and recovering from everything you've just done from this previous season, and then obviously preparing and ramping up heading into this next season? And then Joe, from your perspective, how do you as the trainer handle that?
It's definitely been, a weird off season for me, but it was good. I was able to be able to experience NBA Finals, and that's something I've always dreamed of as a kid. Win the Western Conference Finals, and it's great, and it's it's motivating to be able to get back there. It was definitely tough. 2 days after the finals, I was flying to Australia. And going right into Australian camp, and to be able to experience the Olympics again was amazing. Unfortunately, our team fell short, but then just being able to take a little 10-day break and whatnot, and then just coming right back out here and then trying to do as much as I can in 2 weeks to make sure I'm ready to go for Charlotte in the season. And
it's really a unique off season because not only did you play Olympics, but you're International Olympics. So, like we were talking about Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday, they played the finals also, but then they went for Team USA, but they got to go home. You immediately got on a plane and went to Australia, which is home, but you were in a hotel. So it's been a tough, but if you think about it, NBA Finals and Olympics back to back, like you said, those are like things basketball players. You're 40 now. You're 23, right? So you're still young. So to be able to do that in the summer, the challenge for you is going to be. We've talked about this many times. Obviously, these 2 weeks have been intense to get your body back, kind of what we'd say like on track, like just toward being the player you can. But it's going to be a build for you in September. Normally you'd go back to camp tomorrow or Monday or whatever, and you'd be like ready to go. Mid-season shape. Your wind is perfect. You're in good shape, but it's going to, just because of the Olympics, because of all that, it's almost delayed. So now this month of September for you is going to be just really, really important to continue to build and not go too fast, because at the end of the day, everyone wants you ready to go in November, December, January, February, even into March, right? And hopefully with Charlotte, you guys, new coach, new ownership, new team, you can bring your winning ways from Dallas over there and turn some things around. But I think the off season, you're going to look back next year when you have nothing, and you're going to be like, wow, this is great. This is easy. But you've had a lot of challenges this summer. The travel in the hotels alone, how many days, if you think about from the end of June until a week ago when you got back, how many days were you in a hotel? Like 50, 60 days, right?
Mostly every single day, yeah.
And everyone thinks it's great, in a hotel and nice hotels and out, you eating dinner out, but you miss cooking a little food in your kitchen and going to sleep in your own bed. Yeah, it's hard. And the travel, too. I mean, you went from Boston to Dallas to Australia to Abu Dhabi to Australia to Lille, and right. And then it was just like not even normal person wouldn't be able to handle that, let alone someone who's trying to compete at a high level. So, but these last 2 weeks have been a huge ramp up for you, and now it's just time to keep it rolling. So it'll be good. We've done it before with KG and Chauncey and those guys that played in international competition. It just takes a little bit longer to get you going.
Definitely.
You were a key piece in the Mavericks playoff run last season that ended with you guys making it to the NBA Finals. Was there a moment during the finals where it just kind of sank in, like a surreal moment that really reminded you where you were at?
Yeah, I mean, I think going to the NBA Finals was, easily, probably the coolest experience I've ever had as a basketball player. I don't know, like I've always, every single year I get so hyped to just, watch it, and just to be a part of it was amazing, and it's kind of the type of thing that you take for granted in time, because, I feel like I'm competitive and I feel like, I want to win. So you don't really get to, take it, just be able to, take it all at a time, with all the type of things that go on. I mean, I think a lot of it is obviously the game and whatnot, but there's so much that goes behind the scenes and with media and all this different stuff that it does make it a very big occasion, and it feels like a big occasion, but it's a lot of fun being able to run into an arena and seeing it's like a whole different level of fan support, and it was an adrenaline rush that it's addicting. Like I want to be able to go back there again.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the finals several times before with different guys, but when I got to Boston for Game 1 and the atmosphere in the arena, I was like, okay, this is different, and then just the intensity of every play, really is something that you can see why, now that you've done it, you can see why someone would say you have to play in the finals once before you win it. It's like, oh, they have finals experience. It's a big time. You're thinking, oh, it's just basketball, but it's a bunch different. So, I mean, from my perspective, for you in the finals, when you get to that late in the season, you're really playing your role, right? The games are planned. This wasn't the time to say, hey, try this or try that. So really, just the way you defended, and obviously, you get to the finals based on a certain pattern of how your team's playing, and you had to stay within that role. So it's a little bit restricting, right? As you remember, saying, I want to do more, but you always have to, balance that with how the team got there. So, I think with you playing major minutes in the finals, like, you don't even realize how that's going to help your career moving forward. Like 2-3 years from now, I say, I played in the finals, played 20 minutes a game. And what did you score in Game 5? 15 or 18?
14.
14, yeah. I mean, you had 14 points in Game 5 of the finals. So this is something that's going to, you probably don't even realize it yet, but you'll soak in the experience and be able to handle things differently. But you're right, it's different. The media, the tickets, the whole thing is just like a lot. It's a lot. It's the only game going on in the whole country, right? And in the world, really, at that time. So, but I think that experience will totally benefit you. But it is interesting how people say, oh, they've been to the finals before, and then when you go experience the finals, you're like, oh yeah, it helps to have done it once before.
Since Josh's first pre-draft, he's been coming back here every offseason since then. Talk about, from a player development standpoint, what that looks like, what those off seasons look like in terms of kind of developing as a role player. The last couple seasons, you've been playing alongside Luka and Kyrie. So kind of talk about that in your training. What does that look like, and how do you kind of approach these off seasons in terms of growing into your role, but also expanding your game?
I mean, I think with your development up until now, first as a rookie, you didn't play very much. You got more minutes as a second-year player. Third year is when you really broke through and you were like a main part of the rotation. So from a player development standpoint, our goal in the summer has always been, what do you need to do to get more minutes, right? Now that you're in the position you're in now with Charlotte, not so much even having to do with the team, but going into your fifth season, it's about maximizing you, right? So player development changes as guys get older. Again, been through it with so many different guys. First of all, let's get you on the floor. What are the things, we were in such great communication with the Dallas coaching staff on what they needed you to do, and it worked. They say, hey, you need to do this, that, and this. So year 3, if you remember, we shot a zillion corner threes. We attacked closeouts. We got you better with your ball handling, and that really resulted in a lot more minutes. And then you shot, 41% from a three? Yeah. In your rookie year, you shot 16. Yeah. It was a kind of a
low attempts.
Yeah, it was kind of a fake number because you didn't take that many threes. But anyway, shooting 41% obviously is what got you to your second contract and why you're regarded as you are in the league now. But now player development becomes different. It becomes, you're going to have an opportunity to do all the things you used to do, but even more as you get older. Again, you're only 23, but in your fifth season. So for me, player development gets more exciting, and we don't have to worry so much about exactly what the team needed you to do to play with Luka and Kyrie, and now it's how do we get Josh Green to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from my viewpoint, like I feel like my pre-draft, I didn't really know what to expect. I think more is just making sure. I think it was a big jump from college to NBA, and I think being able to be out here for 6 months and go through scrimmages and pick up games, I think that was able to help me just like understanding, like it just felt like a whole different game. But then going into year 2, and kind of not having any minutes or anything like that, it was weird. I was at a weird spot. I didn't know where I was gonna go in my career. I didn't know what was gonna happen. That was the year that coaches change, front office change. So I kind of just, and I had an Olympic. It was the Olympic year too. So it was different.
Oh yeah, you went to Tokyo.
Yeah, it was different. But yeah, it was a lot different. Started getting more minutes, and then that off season was kind of like, it was weird because I felt like it wasn't like I felt like I needed to prove myself as a shooter, but I felt like I knew I could shoot, from high school and whatnot, and I think it was just getting up reps, and while I was doing that, you learn there's bigger things within ball handling and just reading situations, coming off on ball screens. I was able to spend a lot of time with Kyle that off season, and I feel like I got better. But I feel like I kind of go into every off season with like an open mind as far as like what does my body need to get to be a better player the next season, and also like what do I need to do to improve my game on the court, and that's kind of just. I like to buy in and be ready to go for next season.
Yeah, I mean, I tell this story a lot to other people, kids, and after year 2, remember I was in Phoenix and you guys were playing the Suns in the playoffs, and you had beaten Utah, right? and you got taken out of the rotation. And you ended up losing that series, right? I think that was
the Suns.
No, you beat.
No, we beat.
Yeah, and then you lost to Golden State.
West,
yeah, and after that playoff season was over, obviously you were out of the rotation at that point. As soon as the series was over, I think it might have been the next day or the day after, you called me, and you said, and I tell this story because it really is all about player development. You said, "I'm getting to Vegas soon. I got to get better." And you didn't complain about the coaching staff. You didn't say, "Oh, I got screwed." You didn't say any of that stuff. You said, "I need to get better." And I was like, "Let's do it." And from that moment forward, that summer was just like maybe the most focused summer I've ever had anyone have, and it paid off. And again, like you said, it's what you need to do to get your body right, what you need to do to get everything right. So
you were a key piece in the Mavericks playoff run last season that ended with you guys making it to the NBA Finals. Was there a moment during the finals where it just kind of sank in, like a surreal moment that really reminded you where you're at?
I think just like just the crowd ones, like when we were we were on a crazy run in the American Airlines Center, and like just hearing how loud it was. Like usually, like I can never hear, like during a game when I hit a three, I can never hear the crowd. I can never, like, I'm usually pretty in the zone, but like I was saying before, like the adrenaline rush of just being there. But then like it was like the whole place was shaking during the game 4 against the Celtics, and man, it was the best. Like it was like every single thing like I ever dreamed of. Like you're being in the driveway, and used to pretend like I was Kobe trying to hit a shot. Like being able to have that feeling for like actually in real life was that was a lot of fun. And then also like game 1 going into we at the TD Garden, we knew it was going to be a crazy atmosphere. We prepared for it. I was obviously I was nervous, but like a good nervous. I was ready to go, hyped. We get on the court and we're doing layup lines, and it was like very loud. And then all of a sudden, like it just went to like 100 times louder. Like floor was shaking and everything like that, and everyone was clapping. I was kind of looking around like, dude, it kind of felt like a UFC fight. And then they started filming KP Porzingis coming out of the locker room.
It was a UFC.
It felt like a UFC event. I was like, this is not a basketball. It was so loud in there.
It was his intro.
But it made me so hyped. I was so ready. I was pumped for that game. But yeah, like I said, like this, I think just the level of adrenaline you get is like it was unreal.
Obviously, we've been discussing Josh's pre-draft, but you've been doing this a very long time, 26 years now. From your perspective, from a player development standpoint, how has kind of the pre-draft process changed throughout your time in this field? And speak to that a little bit.
I think, pre-draft 26 years ago was Al Harrington and Ty Lue, or in their mid-40s now, so that tells you where it's at. But, I mean, it was different because the scouting was different. There's so much more scouting now. They know so much more about guys. I mean, Al came out of high school, so people didn't know that much about him, and there wasn't social media, so you couldn't watch him too much, So I think that the game has changed too. So what we're preparing guys to do is much different. Everyone's got to be able to shoot the ball. There's way more shooting in pre-draft than there was. It used to be guys that are strong, guys that could do that. You got to be able to shoot the ball. It's one of the biggest things that we work on in the pre-draft now. Just showing the proficiency to shoot or be able to shoot. You don't have to be a great shooter initially because guys can get better. You got to show you can shoot a little. So the whole drill structure of the draft has gotten a lot different. Much more handoff game, no post work. Just the way the game is played with speed. We're if you look at the muscle bound guys of the late 90s, 2003, 4, 5, they don't have that many. Guys like that are bigger, slower guys. So we're getting guys faster, getting guys able to move. I mean, can you guard multiple positions? Can you switch onto guards? Those are the things that we're focusing on now. And really, we would never shoot threes with they used to have like the centers go into the workouts and they would be like, shoot a three just for the fun of it. Now it's like a real drill. So we've got to have our bigs be able to, again, don't be who you aren't, which is a big thing of the draft. They've already scouted you enough, so you're not going to go in and create like a new identity for yourself, but show the proficiency to be able to improve your shooting. So yeah, I think the draft process has changed what we do because the game has changed a lot, and the scouting is just way different. They can find anything about you now, and they probably watched every minute of every game that you've ever played. So, but it's still pretty intense and detail oriented.
Yeah. You should make Joe ask him about KG saying that nobody can play in the in his era 20 years ago.
Oh,
He said even Anthony Edwards could.
did he say that?
Yeah. He said no one in today's age could play 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 1 of Under the Banners. As we continue to grow this show, we really appreciate it if you could like, comment, and subscribe. To stay up to date with the latest of everything going on at Impact Basketball, please follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Impact B-Ball. And for more information about our training and camps, please visit our website, www.impactbball.com. Thank you, and see you on the next episode.